So for round 13, we're going to join with a standing treble to any chain 2 corner space. Then we're going to work another treble into the same space, chain 2, and another 2 treble. So that's your corner done. Then we're going to miss that first stitch and we're going to work a treble into the next. Then we're going to work a front post treble round the double treble from the 12th round. Then we're going to work a treble into the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to work a front post treble around the next double treble from the previous round. Then we're going to miss a stitch and work 8 half treble. So we've worked into the stitch that's a double treble into this one here. We've worked into the top of it and we've worked around it. So we're missing that next stitch. Working 8 half trebles. So you will have not worked into the stitch that we've worked around here. There'll be a stitch missed there because we've worked around it. Then you've got them 2 trebles, one of them landing in the next double treble here. And then that treble working around it, so we're missing the next stitch. So that's the most confusing thing on this row, is knowing which stitches to miss. So you should have one missed there, directly behind the double treble, and one missed next to this double treble because we've worked into it and around it. Okay, so now we've done 8 half trebles. We're going to do a front post double treble around the front post treble from round 10. Then we're going to miss a stitch and work 3 half trebles. And then another front post double treble around the next front post treble from round 10. Then we're going to miss a stitch and work 7 half trebles. Then we're going to work a front post treble around the double treble from the previous round. So we're missing that stitch behind the double treble. So we've already worked around it, so we're not working into it again. And we're working 2 trebles. So your next treble goes into the top of the next double treble. So now we're working a front post treble around this double treble that we've just worked into. Then we're missing a stitch and working a treble into that last one of this row. Or of the edge, should I say. So that's what every edge of this round should look like. So your corner will be 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles. So you're missing a stitch as usual behind your front post double trebles that reach down to row 10. You're missing that first stitch when you start off. You repeat your next edge, you're missing that first stitch there. You're missing a stitch behind your front post treble. Then because you're working into this front post treble, you're missing the stitch next to it. And that's the same over here as well. So when you do this front post treble, you're missing the stitch behind it. Then when you do this one, you're working into it, so you're missing the one next to it here. Okay, so if you want to repeat that along each edge, and then I'll see you when you get to here. So now that we've finished round 13, we can take a look at our stitches. So in between each chain 2 corner space, you should have 2 trebles that go into the corner from the previous round. Then you should have missed a stitch and then have a treble in the next stitch. Then a front post treble around the double treble from the previous round. So then missing a stitch behind there and working a treble into each of the next 2 stitches. The second of the trebles being in the top of the double treble from the previous round, and then a front post treble round that double treble also. So then you're missing a stitch next to that, and then you've got 8 half trebles, a front post double treble round the front post treble from round 10, missing a stitch behind that, and then a half treble into each of the next 3 stitches, a double treble around the next, a front post double treble around the next front post treble from round 10, missing a stitch behind there. Then you've got 7 half trebles here. So remember, you've got 8 half trebles here and 7 here, so it's not symmetrical. Then you've got a front post treble around the double treble from the previous round, missing a stitch there, and then working 2 trebles, the second of them trebles being in the top of the double treble from the previous round, and then working a front post treble around that double treble also. So missing the stitch next to that there, and then working a treble into the last stitch of that edge, and then you've got your 2 trebles into the next corner. So you should have 33 stitches in total. So just remember, these are front post trebles that go around your double trebles here, and these are front post double trebles. So if you remember that, and that there's 8 half trebles here and 7 here, and that you missed that first stitch there, then we should be okay. There is quite a lot to take in with this round, and with it not being symmetrical, it can throw you sometimes. So just make sure each edge is correct, and then we can move on to round 14. So taking the denim yarn, we're going to start with a standing treble to any corner space. Then another treble, chain 2, and another 2 treble into that same space. Now we're going to work a treble into each of the next 3 stitches. So now we're going to work a front post double treble round the second front post treble from round 13. So that'll be this one. So that's the next one, that's the one after. Then we're going to miss a stitch and work 2 half trebles. So I'm missing that stitch there. And then we're going to work a double treble around the first front post treble. So it makes that cross shape. So now we're going to miss 2 stitches and work 8 trebles. So I'm missing that one and this one. So now we're going to miss the next stitch, which is this one here, and we're working a V-stitch into that centre stitch. So your V-stitch is a treble, a chain, and a treble. Then we're going to miss the next stitch and work 8 trebles. So I'm missing that one and working 8. Now we're going to work a front post double treble around the second front post treble from the previous round. I'm going to miss a stitch and then work 2 half trebles over the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to work a front post double treble around that first front post treble from the previous round that we've missed. Then we're going to miss a stitch and then work 2 half trebles. Sorry, we're going to miss a stitch and work 3 trebles. So I'm missing that one that we've worked that first double treble around. And then working 3 trebles. So that's what row 14 should look like. And then your corner, we're going to do the same as we've done here. Here, we're going to do 2 trebles, 2 chains, and 2 trebles. Okay, so just make sure you're missing stitches where you should be. So you're missing 2 stitches here and 1 here. And here you're just missing 1 here and 1 here. So it's not totally symmetrical again. So just watch out for that. So if you repeat this edge along the other 3 edges, and then we'll take a look at our stitches. So in between each chain 2 corner space, you should have 2 trebles that go into the corner from the previous round, 3 trebles. Then we should have a front post double treble that reaches over to the second front post treble from the previous round. Then 2 half trebles, and then a front post double treble that reaches over to the front post treble from the previous round. Remembering these missed stitches here, and you're missing 2 stitches here. Then you should have 8 trebles, a missed stitch and a V-stitch, which is a treble, 1 chain and a treble, missed stitch and 8 trebles. Then your front post double treble going over to the second front post treble from the previous round, 2 half trebles behind there, and then a front post double treble reaching over to the first front post treble from the previous round, and not forgetting your missed stitches, just one miss there and one miss there, and then 3 trebles and then your 2 trebles that are in that corner space from the previous round. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So you should have 37 stitches, including your 1 chain in the middle there, and then 2 half trebles that are just hiding behind your front post double trebles. Okay, so if you've got that amount of stitches along each edge, and your row is looking like this, then we can move on to round 15. So taking our dark brown yarn, we're going to start with a standing treble to any chain 2 corner space. Then we're going to work another treble, 2 chain, and another 2 treble into the same space. Then we're going to work 11 trebles over the next 11 stitches. So now we're going to miss the next stitch and work a V-stitch into the next, which is a treble, a chain and a treble into the same space, into the same stitch. Then we're going to miss 2 stitches and work a V-stitch. Miss 2 stitches and work a V-stitch, so your next V-stitch will end up in the V-stitch from the previous round. And again, miss 2 stitches and work a V-stitch. And miss 2 stitches and work a V-stitch. Then you're going to miss a stitch and work 11 trebles. So that should take you up to your last stitch of the previous edge. And then we're going to work the corner the same as we've done here in here. So 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles. And then we're going to start that row. Repeat what we've done here along the next edge. So we're going to do 11 trebles. 11 trebles, miss 1 stitch and do your V. Then we're going to miss 2 stitches and work a V 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to miss your next stitch and do 11 trebles. So that's nice and symmetrical. There's nothing to catch you out there. So if you do that along each edge, then we'll take a look at our stitches. So at the end of round 15, we should have 41 stitches in between each of the chain 2 corner spaces. That's consisting of 2 stitches going into the corner stitch from the previous round, 11 trebles on either side, and then your 2 corner ones as well. So 11, 11, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So all these stitches should add up to 26. And then your V's, you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 trebles with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain stitches in between. Okay, so that should work out at 41 stitches in between, including your chain stitches in between each of your chain 2 corner spaces. So if you've got that on each edge, we can move on to round 16.